Your paycheck is not disappearing after you spend it. It's being taken before you ever get the chance to make a decision. That's why payday feels good for about 12 minutes. And then your bank account starts looking like it was robbed by people with better paperwork. Rent takes a piece. Taxes take a piece. Debt takes a piece. Subscriptions take a piece. Car payments take a piece. Insurance takes a piece. Food takes a piece. And by the time the money finally reaches you, it's already been assigned to everyone else. So technically, you got paid. But emotionally, you were just the middleman. That is why so many people feel broke right after getting paid. Not because they bought one crazy thing. Not because they're secretly gambling in a basement. Not because of one coffee. Because their paycheck was already spoken for before it landed. And that is one of the most dangerous financial traps in modern life. You think the money is yours, but most of it already belongs to your lifestyle. That is the problem. And once you understand that, money starts looking very different because the real enemy is not always low income. Sometimes the enemy is pre-committed income. Money that arrives, but never becomes freedom. It just passes through, like a delivery driver dropping packages at everyone else's house, and you're left holding the empty bag. Most people call this normal life. But normal life is expensive, very expensive. And the trick is that none of it feels like theft. Your rent is normal. Your phone bill is normal. Your car payment is normal. Your subscriptions are normal. Your insurance is normal. Your debt minimums are normal. Your weekend spending is normal. Everything is normal. Until normal quietly owns your entire paycheck. That's the trap, not one big bad decision. A system of normal decisions that leaves you with no room. And no room means no power. Because if every paycheck is already claimed before you touch it, you don't have money. You have a temporary money transfer system. Money comes in, money goes out, you stay in place. That is why people can earn more than ever and still feel stuck. Their income rises, but the claims on that income rise too. A bigger apartment, a nicer car, more convenient habits, more monthly payments, more small subscriptions, more comfort, more lifestyle. And suddenly the raise didn't make them freer. It just gave more people permission to take a bigger piece. This is not new. History keeps repeating the same story with different costumes. In the early 1900s, installment plans let people buy things before they had fully paid for them. Furniture, radios, appliances. It felt like progress, and in some ways, it was. But it also trained people to think in payments instead of prices. That is a huge shift. Because when you think in price, you ask, how much does this really cost? But when you think in payments, you ask, can I survive the monthly hit? Those are not the same question. One builds awareness, the other builds traps. Then credit cards made the trap faster. Now you didn't even need to wait. You could spend today and let future you get punched later. Then car loans got longer, housing got more expensive, subscriptions became automatic. Buy now, pay later made debt look cute. And modern life became a machine designed to claim your paycheck early, before you think, before you plan, before you even feel like the money is real. That's why payday is weird now. You see the deposit, you feel relief. Then the automatic charges start marching in like they were waiting outside your door. Rent, car, insurance, debt, phone, internet, subscriptions, groceries, minimum payments. Suddenly the paycheck is bleeding from every direction. And you're left wondering, didn't I just get paid? Yes, you did. But the money already had other owners. That is the brutal part. Your paycheck doesn't get stolen by one villain. It gets divided by a crowd. And the crowd is made of every fixed cost you agreed to when you were feeling optimistic. This is why fixed costs are so dangerous. They are not just expenses. They are claims on your future income. Every time you add a fixed cost, you are making a promise to future paychecks. You are saying, before I save, before I invest, before I breathe, this gets paid first. That is serious. A car payment is not just a car payment, it is a piece of every future paycheck. Rent is not just rent. It is the first bite out of every month. Debt is not just debt. It is your past charging your present interest. And once enough of those promises stack up, your paycheck stops being yours. It becomes payroll for your obligations. That is why a person can look successful and feel trapped. Nice place, good car, decent income, clean lifestyle. But underneath, no margin, no flexibility, no breathing room. One missed paycheck away from panic. That is not financial strength. That is expensive fragility. And expensive fragility is everywhere. Let's make it concrete. Imagine you earn $4,500 a month after tax. Sounds decent. But then $1,700 goes to rent. $650 goes to a car payment. $200 goes to insurance. $150 goes to phone and internet. $300 goes to debt minimums. $600 goes to food. $200 goes to subscriptions, apps, and little automatic charges. $300 goes to gas, transport, and random basics. Now you haven't done anything wild. No luxury watch, no private jet, no yacht named bad decisions, just normal life. And already most of the paycheck is gone. Before investing, before saving, before emergencies, before fun, before the future gets one real chance. That is why this hurts. Because people are not always broke from being reckless. Sometimes they are broke because their baseline life got too expensive. Their normal got too hungry. And once normal gets hungry, it eats first. Every time. This is why people keep saying, I just need more money. Maybe. But if your structure stays the same, more money might not save you. It might just feed the machine. Because a bigger paycheck does not automatically create freedom. A bigger gap creates freedom. The gap between what comes in and what is already claimed, that gap is where your future lives. Savings lives there. Investing lives there. Debt freedom lives there. Options live there. Peace lives there. But if the gap is gone before you touch the money, you don't get to build. You only get to maintain. And maintenance is exhausting. That's why so many people feel like they're working harder just to stand still. They are not imagining it. They are running a financial treadmill. The paycheck moves, the bills move, the lifestyle moves, but the person stays in the same place. This is also why automatic spending is so sneaky. Autopay is useful, but autopay also makes your money leave quietly. No pain, no friction, no moment where you stop and ask, do I still want this? The money just leaves again and again and again. And because it happens quietly, it feels invisible. But invisible spending is still spending. Actually, it might be the most dangerous kind, because at least when you physically hand over money, you feel it. But when your paycheck gets sliced up automatically, you barely notice until the damage is done. That is why your bank account can feel like a mystery. Not because the math is impossible, because the system is running without your attention, and anything that runs without your attention eventually starts making decisions for you. That is the real danger. You stop choosing. Your life chooses for you. Your bills choose. Your habits choose. Your past decisions choose. Your subscriptions choose. Your lifestyle chooses. And then you wonder why your paycheck never changes your life. Because it was never free to change your life. It was already captured. Now, to be fair, not every claim on your paycheck is bad. You need housing. You need food. You need insurance. You need transportation. This is not a fantasy where every problem is solved by canceling Netflix and eating dust for dinner. Life costs money. The issue is not that money leaves. The issue is that too much leaves before you make intentional decisions. That is the difference. Healthy expenses support your life. Uncontrolled obligations control your life. And if enough obligations control your life, you lose flexibility. And flexibility is where money gets powerful. Flexibility lets you say no. No to bad debt. No to panic. No to terrible jobs. No to financial traps. No to buying time with credit cards. No to every emergency becoming a disaster. That is what people actually want. Not just a bigger paycheck. A paycheck they can actually use. So what do? First, you stop asking only, how much do I make? And start asking, how much of my paycheck is already owned? That question is uncomfortable. Good. It should be. Because if 80% or 90% of your income is already claimed before you touch it, your problem is not just income, it is structure. Second, you list the automatic claims: rent, car, debt, subscriptions, insurance, apps, anything monthly, anything recurring, anything that quietly takes money before you think. Do not just look at spending, look at commitments, because commitments are stronger than impulses. A random bad purchase can hurt, but a recurring obligation can drain you for years. Third, you protect a piece of the paycheck before the world gets to it. This is the move. Pay your future first, not with whatever is left, because whatever is left is usually nothing. You take a piece first. Savings, emergency fund, debt payoff, investing, whatever job matters most right now. But it happens first, before lifestyle gets hungry, before the month starts lying to you, before every dollar gets a new excuse. That one habit changes everything, because now your paycheck is not just surviving the month, it is building something, and building is the point. Fourth, you reduce future claims. This is the slow, boring work that makes people powerful. Kill high-interest debt, avoid new monthly payments, keep housing reasonable if you can. Stop turning every comfort into a subscription. Stop letting lifestyle upgrades become permanent obligations, because every claim you remove gives future paychecks more freedom. That's how you take your money back, not all at once, piece by piece, payment by payment, decision by decision. You reclaim the paycheck. That is the real game. Not looking rich, not feeling busy, not moving money around for the sake of movement. Reclaiming ownership, because the saddest financial life is not always the lowest income life. It is the life where every paycheck arrives already defeated, already divided, already gone. And the person just keeps working to fund promises they made months or years ago. That is the cage. But the door starts opening when you understand this. Your paycheck should not only maintain your life, it should improve your position. If it doesn't, something has to change. Maybe income, maybe expenses, maybe debt, maybe habits, maybe the lifestyle you built when you thought future you would somehow handle it. But something has to change, because if nothing changes, every payday becomes the same movie. Money arrives, money leaves. You feel confused, then you wait for the next one. That is not freedom. That is a loop. So here's the final thought. Your paycheck is not powerful because of how big it is. It is powerful because of how much of it you still control. If everyone else gets paid first, you are not building wealth. You are funding a lifestyle that keeps you waiting for the next deposit. So the next time you get paid, don't just ask, how much came in? Ask, how much of this is actually mine? Because that answer tells you the truth, and the truth might explain why it always feels gone already. Subscribe for more simple animated finance videos.